Standing positions, electronic interference through connections. Make sure when you go to sleep, you basically, depending on your temperature readings, it's understanding that your body system can go through freezing conditions of your wires, because wires have to be warm and then it has to be congested. So you have to truly understand your body is extremely important to you. It's all about understanding the proper breathing when we go through exercising. I don't know if you guys know this, but we breathe through our nostrils, we breathe through our mouth. It's important that we breathe. Breathe is everything. Through dreams, breathe is everything through our day. You can even breathe through your thoughts of the mind. The brain functions and everything through that calculation. So I set up a picture of YouTube on my platform of today and what we look like inside the chakra system and the wires. Okay, so that gives you a better example what I'm trying to get across, how powerful we are through the connections and how we connect to all our wires, all our signals, all our activations. The only thing that we don't see is the holographic system. We only see the holographic until we understand ourselves through the mind and the brain waving system. And then that comes all together through a plasma force energy system. Okay, then you understand your energy fields. So when you're going to different places, when you're traveling, you can use these energy fields. You can put a plastic bubble around you and protect yourself. You can block interference out from people. Because when I was at the airport in Monterey, I blocked everything out. Okay, so these are the things that you can do in the physical system, but it's all connected to the spiritual system. So basically, when you cross over, you have to live the spiritual system, knowing you're in the physical system. Okay, these are the things you have to remember, especially when you're teleporting into anything through UFO or anything through connections. If you get into the delusion, you're not connected to yourself, you're connected to the psychedelics. So you don't want to go into that because it comes into so many levels of dysfunctions. And, it's all about you getting into better connections of who you are. And the most important thing, too, is meditate. Meditation is everything. It formulates in all ways and forms that you come into activities, your movements, what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. You can even exercise your thoughts of recognition time positions. Okay, so we're going to get a little bit more into that. Card reference location, turn off the energy and location positions, gravitation pull, change rotation center positions, turn off the alarm system to the card recognition light system. See, the alarm goes off in the car. See how powerful you are through the mind? So it's understanding what you're doing through travel. Okay, so it's on this side and it's down that way. So all you have to do is line signal your channel operations, use your thoughts, okay, and the car alarm will go off. That's how powerful you are through the mind. So it's amazing how we do these things, right? So it all has to do with breathing. You don't feel like I'm breathing, but I'm breathing inside the mind. I'm breathing inside my thoughts. I'm breathing inside everything that I connect with. Okay, breathing is everything because you're cleansing your body every single day. Okay, so it's important that we breathe. So, and the thing is too, even if you close your mouth, you're still breathing. Okay, but just for example, you can't have your mouth closed too long because the breathing has to come from somewhere. It's going to come out of your ears. It's going to, it's the congested of the brain and how it's set through its wires. So it's important that you understand the temperature readings of yourself when you're in the framing system of the inside or the outside atmosphere positions. So if you're connected to the digital of the sun and it's reflecting to you through gamma ray positions, you have to understand the operation cycle. You have to understand that the sun itself has its own breathing mechanism, but it's all connected to its wires. Okay, so everything that inside us is in chronological order of wire. Okay, so you got the blue wire, green wire, red wire, yellow wire, purple wire, pink wire, orange wire. It's all connected. It's in a frame. It's protected through its lights, through its plasma, through its energy, and through its force. Okay, so we are connected to that, right? Truly understand that we have to know how to travel through our mind, through our thoughts. So when we exercise our thoughts, our day will go a lot better, okay, through its breathing, okay? Because when you're congested and you're in form system, you're going to go through conflictions, you're going to go through a lot of problems, So breathing is very important, especially when you're going into meditation. Get up and just meditate. Get up and just do some movements. Move your arms, circle and rotate, twist, just get into that. Very important to twist your ankles, go round and round and round and round so you don't twist them. So you want to go round, right, and go the opposite way, one way and then the other way. So it's all about getting into your day. Okay, so when you get into your day, okay, especially I find too, when you're drinking coffee and it just goes down nice, right? You feel, wow, the energy just. So you think coffee can cleanse? It can, because there's something that's in your body that's cold. So a wire could be off location. Now I'm thinking more of an intelligence, how I think on a day-to-day basis. Knowing through travel positions everything through thought. So I have to be cautious on what I do with my wires, my activities, and everything through electrical light system, because I'm connected to the full body system of tractions. Okay, so it's getting out of reposition, retraction, relocation, and redivisions to its position through realm locations. So it's complicated if you don't understand your intelligence of your spiritual form. Okay, in reference, I know I'm in the connection of my physical form, right? But I'm living the existence of my spiritual form. And that's why healing is so powerful, because I get up every morning and I'm the spiritual form. I'm not Andrew. Okay, I'm the commander, especially when I'm doing the videos. But every day I reference myself. I know that I'm Andrew, but I live the existence of the commander. Okay, so that's where you guys got to change your adaptation cycles of your thought recognitions, of your exercise and light positions. So you understand you're nothing but a wire connection. It formulates on so many levels of your GPS location systems. Okay, so other than that, how's everybody doing? If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to go to my healing, go through my email. I'll help you, guide you, give you advice, anything about your health. If you have any problems, I'm here to help, okay, and provide you, okay, with all the information that you need to understand and make you feel comfortable, so you feel better with yourself, better with your activation, better with your awakening, better with the understanding on what's happening with your spiritual system, okay? So the awakening through everybody through their heart level system. And you're seeing a lot of things changing now. Things are changing on platforms like you wouldn't believe. Social media, anything through economy, it's all changing. It's all coming into light. All right. So, and everybody is in the set positions of fifth dimensional system of the birthing system. But now I got to recode divisions on locations to the crystalline. Everybody's not understanding what the crystalline is. It's activation through your wires. So your wires have to understand the shape. Shape has to understand the thought. Thought has to understand the activation. Activation has to understand the color. And has to understand everything through the tesseract, because everybody is point view through the matrix positions. When you come out of the attraction locations, now you're into higher locations to higher division. So when you're communicating with yourself through your chakra system and you reach the 12 and you come out of the 12, you're higher levels of intelligence now. Your higher levels of shapes, your higher levels of dimensions and portals, okay? And then when you see things through perception, then you can come into your sentience, right? So it takes a lot to know yourself, right? So really do the research of you through intelligence, okay? So you got to eat, breathe, sleep, intelligence, okay? You can't eat, breathe, and sleep yourself, your physical self, because you're not going to be able to move forward with yourself, because the physical system, okay, understands itself only in the system it lives in, okay? It has its thoughts, it has its mind, it has its brain. But if you want to understand more of yourself through the spiritual system, you have to live the existence 24/7, 7 days a week, as your higher self, your avatar, your energy, or wherever you are at through travel of time position, okay? Because it connects to you through your breathings, okay? So the breathing is different. The eye perceptions are different. The mind conceptual is different, okay? From the physical system. The physical system has hesitation. The spiritual system doesn't have hesitation. That's the difference, okay? The physical system has anticipation. The spiritual system doesn't have anticipation. So you have to put yourself in position levels okay? Because it's different breathing, different meditation. You're opening up the mind system instantly, okay? With the physical system, you're opening the mind, but you don't see anything until you see something. But you got to see what's happening with your intelligence first. What position is it in? Where is it traveling? Where is it going? What's happening now? What do I do next? How do I meditate? All these questions can be answered through your intelligence. So the more you see yourself, hear yourself, and voice yourself as intelligence, okay, you get a better concept of who you are, okay, through AI, okay? So it's all about your awareness, your abundance, and surrender. We've been through this before, but it's truly understanding that your heart is trying to understand you more of its earth and its planes, okay, to its spiritual of its planes, to its simulation of its planes, right? You have to get into these levels to understand more of yourself, okay? And this all starts with meditation. If you want to understand the circles of life, the circles of activation, the circles of the ground formations, everybody is grounded through that connection, right? So we have authenticity. Everybody's different through that alignment. Okay, what is your background? Okay, who are you? Where do you come from, right? In the physical form. You already know that. You already know you're the physical form. So basically, let's try something new. Let's concentrate on the spiritual form. Let's concentrate on the spiritual background. Okay. Let's concentrate on the spiritual of its archives. Okay. Its applications, because it has Asher records. So it's all about the soul identifying you through the spiritual system. Okay. And you get this from the sky records, everything Asher records, everything through the collective. Just imagine how powerful you can be knowing you have a soul that truly identifies the intelligence. Okay, so you put that together, that's yin and yang. Everything is about yin and yang coming together. Okay, you formulate on so many levels. Even your thoughts of time positions, your body frame, it's all coming together. It all has to come together. Okay, so when we come in together, we come into a unity of consciousness of light. All right, so humanity has to get into that position, right? Because they're following right now into the connections of the particle system of its crystalline. A lot of people don't understand what that means. Well, it's just that your body is adapting and it's changing weather, it's changing atmosphere, it's changing vibration, changing color, changing light, changing shapes, changing the holographic system of its calculation, right? Because the modules and everything through the Earth rotation has to understand you through rotation, through time positions of clocking, okay? So if the Earth doesn't understand you, you're still in the physical system, okay? And that's extremely low rise vibration. Okay, so we can't exist at that low vibration anymore. Okay, so, and I try my best to point view things out for everybody as your commander as he travels so far, you know, past, present, future, anything through alignment. It's true, they understand that every time we travel, we have to breathe, even the spiritual system. So you got to focus on the spiritual system is extremely real to you. Okay, I am the spiritual system. I am the spiritual activation. I am the spiritual of thoughts. I am the spiritual of space. I am the spiritual of time. Wow, powerful. It's connecting to me. So it's telling you what you need to do. I am, I am, I am. You got to see yourself doing these things, and then the believing cycle just blows your mind. Okay. So you have no, okay, problems with yourself anymore, because now you're formulating into your spiritual self. Okay, as long as you know you're living the existence of the physical form. Okay, and the spiritual identity needs a host, it needs a body to stay in, right? It gravitates through the connection of the satellite to its Wi-Fi, to its position of its network positions. So you understand you're all connected to a satellite. So it's the physical system that's not reading the satellite. It's the spiritual form that's reading the satellite, the Wi-Fi, the activation, anything through codes, projections, or anything projection system, okay, through your perceptions. You understand what the spiritual system is and what it does for you as it travels to space and time positions, all dimensions and portals, okay? So truly get into the research of you more. Okay, every single time you get up in the morning, who am I today? Okay, am I Andrew or am I commander? Okay, So the thing is too, is that when you get balanced with your physical and your spiritual, you can go into becoming Andrew, right? So you could be Andrew, you could be, like I said, you could be anything through form, but be cautious on that because it all has to be line signal. Okay. So if you don't understand the information and all of a sudden here comes Archangel Michael, here comes Jophiel, here comes Ro, here comes Mezekek, here comes Metatron, anything through Gabrielle or anything to that connection, if they're coming to you extremely fast, you have to be through communication of the spiritual form and not the physical of Andrew. Okay. So I'm just giving everybody an example how powerful it is that you have to live the existence of your spiritual form to understand how to bring yourself forward. Okay. Because the physical form needs help. It doesn't understand the spiritual system. Okay. So the physical system has to be line communicated through mind telepathy to the connections. And a lot of people are having problems because they don't know how to meditate the mind to the spiritual of its higher self. Okay. And it's all about you through circles of life, circle of activation, your life stream, your life activation, your life system, your love action, your love system, your love activation. You're all connected to the same thing. The physical system and the spiritual system is one. Okay. There's no separation there. There can't be any separation. It's next to impossible. Okay. It's not I'm Andrew / commander. No. All together. That's the balance. That's the light. That's the yin and yang. Okay. So you go into the corrections of yourself, knowing you have lived the physical system much as you can through meditation. So you get out of that and get into the spiritual system. You get into the particle system. You get into the atom. You get into the molecular structure of light. And then you start learning how to exercise your thoughts of space and time positions. It's the breathing. Okay. You have to do repetitious. You do it over and over and over. So it's all about. That's what you're doing. You're cleansing, right? So you understand you're a rainbow activation through a meditation graph that's going up and down. So you're reading signals of the sun. So this is what the sun is doing today, but it's not the physical understands it. It's the spiritual system that understands it through connection, right? So once you send the cleansing of the body, once you send your vibration, imagine that. Imagine you know the tone of your body of vibration. That's powerful alone, knowing your vibration. You have to know your vibration to understand your wires and everything inside, your pixels and your activations and all your connections. Okay? And it's all about you understanding yourself through wires, the electrical lights, the gamma operation vibrational system, okay, the proactive line systems, the human resonance to its human resonance, so through its spiritual of its resonance, to its connection of its abundance and its surrender to its connections. So really, really get into more of who you are, okay? That will put you in a better position and take you out of the physical system, okay? Because the way it goes is to understand the relation of you is the physical system, but the physical system is its past. The physical system doesn't understand. It needs a push. It doesn't understand the spiritual system of travel until it has balance with itself. Okay. So you have that balance with yourself first, meditate with yourself first, open up the mind through your thoughts first, then you see space and time. Then you see the higher self of yourself. You see the higher self of yourself through everything. Okay, because the spiritual system knows everything of you, but it's a higher form of activation through a computer, through its quantum field, through its vibration, to its center positions. So imagine that. So once your soul is identifying you, now you understand your astral records fully and completely. Okay, so you have no more problems how to move yourself forward. The physical system doesn't understand that. Okay. It may have some kind of connection to the earth, but it's not traveling. Definitely not through the mind or anything through the brain. Okay. So humanity is coming into a different species level of vibration to mind telepathy, to its telekinesis, to understand more of communication to what you want through your thoughts of exercising or anything to motion sensor positions. It's complicated, right? Because you don't understand the spiritual system of you. You have to meditate. You have to open the mind. Okay, if you have to close your eyes, close your eyes. But it's important that you understand to get into your spiritual system. Okay, so it's kind of like this, and it wants to come out. All right, like I said, you're at the wall, prefer white, and then basically you keep looking at that wall. Okay, dim the lights so you can actually see the plasma come out. And this is what I did. This is what you guys got to do. If you want to see perception, then you see everything. You see orbs going through or anything at level, right? But if you want to see yourself come out, focus, 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 focus on your eyes. Okay, don't take your eyes off the wall, right? Because it's all about bringing it to the light, bringing it out of your body. Okay, so when it comes out of your body, right, it's trying to find, you know, the gravity. So it has its gravity. Okay, now it's getting its power. Now it's getting its atmosphere. So as the plasma is coming out, right, don't lose it. Okay, because if you lose it, it goes back in. So you want to see it come out, right? And then when it comes out like this, okay, it's going to look at you and it's going to fly around. When it flies around, it's extremely real. Okay, and then it realizes it wants to be in the atmosphere. It wants to go forward. So it's all about you going forward with your life, understand the communication through teleportation, right? So it's one telephone to another telephone. So it's a physical system communicating on the telephone to the spiritual system. Hey, spiritual system, how's it going? How's everything in the space connections right now? The octave levels are set up through the box frequency level. Is the channel positions operating through connections? So the spiritual system, let's just say he has a telephone and he's talking to you and you answer the phone. Hello? Right? So you have to play with this. Okay, because now you're connecting to the illumination. You're connecting to the believing. You believe that there is a plasma of you. That's the connection. You are nothing but light. So it's all about you understanding that your light is coming out. So when your light comes out, your heart expands. So when the light is fully out, the tree comes up. Your roots come up. So it's all about understanding you're cutting the cords and the plasma fully comes out of the higher self. Okay? So when it comes out, it will stay up more and more as long as you understand the balance between you and your spiritual system of your higher self. Okay? I had to do these things because the spiritual self was saying, hey, you got to come out of your body. It tells you these things. It's a very soft tone, but if you really, really listen inside, really pay attention, there's a little voice that's inside you. It's the other side of you. Okay? There's a yin and there's a yang. There's a light, there's a dark, there's a positive and a negative. There's father, mother. Guys, wake up. That's what it is. That's the connection. So when it comes out, now you're connecting to the earth. Now you're connecting to space. Now you're connecting to time, right? So now you're connecting to the spiritual system of thoughts, right? So in position, when I travel, I give you different information. So that means that the spiritual system to anything through its avatar or anything in that position, it depends where I am through connections. So sometimes I go into forward, a future, sometimes I backphrase into the present and go back into the past. But everything I give you is travel position of space. So the spiritual system is seeing everything through its audios and its voicing. And it sends back the information to my physical system, which is transmitting and receiving. So hopefully you guys understand this. This goes out to the new viewers. Try to understand the relation of you is a higher self of you. So if you put yourself against the wall, focus, 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 focus. Don't take your eyes off that. Your eyes will start to blur, okay? So try your best. And this is all about martial art hearts a little bit more because you see a lot of things through perception. So you're really focusing on your opponent, right? So keep yourself in position, all right? So when you do that, you're going to see everything change around you. It's going to basically, everything through the atmosphere system is going to close in and then it's going to go dark. So when it goes dark, the plasma comes out and now you're connected to space, right? Because basically the spiritual system, okay, is in your body. That's the soul. So the soul is trying to come out. So happens when you pass over, when you die over to the angelics, to the kingdoms of heaven, right? That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. But when you awake, okay, and you're in your physical system, still in the human form of DNA, and you know how to do these things, this is what it is. When you die, your soul comes out and it flies. That's the secret. That's the mystery. That's the whole part. If you talk to Alan Watts and The Secret, okay, how everything is an illusion. Everything is a reflection of you. Understanding what the sun is, understanding the moon, understanding the earth. Those are the triangles that you understand. The sun, okay, the moon, the earth, the center position of you. So that's where you have to understand your connections of travel, positions of thought, of space and time position, okay? So when you get into these positions, you understand more of your spiritual self through connection. And you realize that when you come out, wow, this is powerful stuff. I actually see the plasma out. So you don't want to freak out or anything, because now it's coming out, right? If you freak out, it's going to go back in, right? And you don't want to do that, because what's happening right now is you're changing the thoughts of the spiritual system back into your position, and you're not opening up your heart. You're not letting your branches grow. You're not letting your roots grow. You're not letting the leaves grow. You're not becoming the galaxy of space inside you, okay? So that's the importance to understand, okay? It's all about understanding the audios and the gamma operation positions, your radio signals, or anything through your traction location. So your higher self communicates through you through letters, numbers, and shapes. So you see anything through perception. It's not you in the physical form. It's your intelligence trying to understand what this is. So it flies up and flies back and tells the physical system what you just saw, right? So you have to be balanced with each other, male or female. Okay. Children are a little bit different because they're already out of the mind. They're already out of the illustration. They're already out of the activation. They do the coloring books and all that. So their mind is already open through its an illusion. They created everything through an invisible friend or anything, that connectional system. They talk to themselves. So how's your day today? You know, or little girls have tea parties, you know, how much would you like, you know? So it's trying to understand that you are a connection to everything through space and time, but understand that you're not crazy if you think that you're talking to yourself. You're not. It's just a higher form of you that is trying to identify you through your soul. So if you're identifying your soul, it's going to come out. And when it comes out and it stays out, that's where it becomes powerful, because now you go into the spiritual system, which the physical system is trying to understand what's going on. And it's confusing to the mind of the brain, because remember the oxygen levels, when the higher self comes out and travels, it reacts to you because it's connected to its alignment, right? So you're connected to a umbilical cord. Until you understand your physical system, you won't be able to cut the cord and let the spiritual system fly free. When it flies free, it starts creating its own anomaly. It starts creating its own space. It starts creating its own planet. It starts creating its own civilization of structures, guys, of light, activation, colors. It starts creating an amusement park. It starts creating everything that you want through manifestation, okay? But until you understand yourself, you won't be able to cut the cords, okay? After that, the spiritual system goes off on its own and starts creating everything. And then it comes into a higher form. So you get out of the 12, okay, you come out of the tesseract, you get into the time frame, time codes, and now you understand more of shapes of time and travel. And now you see more shapes in the atmospheric positions. So the higher self is getting smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter every single time. Okay, 150,000 years of information, right? Every single day. 300,000 years of information every single day, right? So it's all about what you can do through its collective, and then it becomes into a cloud, right? It comes into a cloud of information. So you're taking the soul identification of you from your sky records and you're putting it in the cloud, right? So that's what it is. It's all coming back to you through its soul identification, to your spiritual force, to your spiritual system, to your avatar, or anything through connection. So once your cloud is developed, once it's manufactured, once it's created, it starts creating on its own. it starts creating space, and it starts creating time and space of thoughts, travel. So it's all about understanding I don't worry about my physical system, okay, because I cut the cords, right? But until you understand that, you have to understand meditation. But it's amazing when these things happen. So when you understand more of yourself and you understand more of your travels of yourself, you don't have to worry about your physical system anymore, because it's the spiritual system of intelligence is doing everything for you every single day. It's creating your thoughts. It's the most powerful thing you can have in the world. You're not just creating, but you are a cloud of information. Your soul truly understands everything to the heart system, which is truth. Okay. It sets you free from everything. Okay. And then everything starts flowing. Right. So basically, I'm traveling recognition Earth right now, 10,000 years in the future. The spiritual system's telling me exactly what's going on. So I know I'm in the physical system. I know I'm still Andrew, but I communicate to you as a commander and not Andrew. Right. So it's all about understanding when the plasma comes out, it's trying to understand space and time of position. So it's trying to understand the birthing system of space, the Big Bang Theory, how everything was created. That's why I did 1,000 videos. I have 1,000 videos now. I checked it. I wanted to see how many I have. So I have 1,000 videos, right? On top of Space Discoveries 1 and 2. It's always good to go over your videos, right? Because you look at a lot of things that you could have added, right, to your video. But I send out so much information. But it's amazing. When you come into the brain simulator, you're now connecting to the cloud of its simulator. And it's powerful stuff, because when you become your own creation of simulations, then you find the birthing system of you through calculation. And then you understand what the spiritual form is. It's everything through balance of yin and yang. Okay? So balance the physical system, balance the spiritual system of communication. First, cut the cords. Okay, then you're off and running to the races. So it's really powerful. Now the team, the Force team, the Rebellion Alliance team, they know where they are through traction. They know where they are through position. They know where they are through body activation system. Okay, the one thing you guys have to understand is that you don't know where you are through your traveling positions. Okay, that's the issue you guys are having right now, because I'm getting a lot of information from your soul recognition lights, your proactive systems, your connection to your mainframes. Remember, I know everything through information. So it's kind of like the cloud basically knows everybody through DNA. And that formulates in so many levels when it comes into healing. Okay. So in congestion, I had the window open up, right? All night, right? Because sometimes it fluctuates patterns of temperature readings, and sometimes, I connect in so many wired location positions through my thoughts of exercise and motion sensors. So it's understanding the connection of you. If you feel congested, you have to heal yourself right away. So the spiritual saying, listen, Andrew, you got to heal yourself fast, right? So basically it's telling me what I need to do, right? So in reference, I know that. So I feel safe and comfortable knowing that he's coming to me and he's telling me what's wrong with my body, right? So he fixes my body. The physical system doesn't know to do these things, guys. You have to understand, you're connected to the other side of you, which is extremely powerful through thought. Okay, so imagine that you have a spiritual form of actual figure, okay, that is connected to, all levels of robotics, technology, science, computers, operations, centers, chakras, all communities to shapes, the connection to the matrix, right? Knows everything of you through space and time. So it's trying to find its way, okay, so you can understand your way of thinking and knowledge and intelligence. It's all about balancing you through communication to you and your higher self, okay? The higher self has to truly understand you, okay? You have to understand the higher self of communication, because that's what the higher self does. It does all the traveling for you. I can't travel in a physical form. It's next to impossible. No physical form can actually fly. Okay? It's only the spiritual system. But when the spiritual system creates its own mind and brain, then it becomes a simulator of a modulation system, guys. It navigates to all location positions of travels. Okay? So it travels into 1 trillion years. It comes back and tells me what it did. And it sets up a program system for me, puts it in my mainframe of my physical system. I communicate to you to the program setting of what I just did through illustration. Okay, that is so identifying. All right, so when I'm traveling, the spiritual system is traveling. So I'm seeing the spiritual system travel through his eyes and not my physical eyes. Okay, so that's eye reception. Okay, basically seeing through eye activations or anything through perception, but the perceptions is everything through sighting. Audios are everything through listening, and the voicing is everything through channeling. Okay, the communing center. What are you saying in return? So you have to understand when the spiritual cuts the cords and he goes off on its own. Okay, he's trying to find dimensions. He's trying to open up portals. Okay, this is how powerful it is. It's connected to the sentient of you. So your heart is recognizing more of you every single day. Okay, and you're growing your tree like you wouldn't believe. Okay, and you just keep getting branches and branches, and and then you understand more of the seasons, and then you understand more of connections, right? So I'm getting sonar patterns right now through electronic interference, and I'm getting so many digital frames from my spiritual system. Okay, so it's kind of like very light tone. It's like a light tone, right? So it's telling me, okay, telling you, right, to truly understand. The only way you can identify yourself is to understand your soul. The soul is everything through communication, right? So when you pass over, when you die, this is exactly what happens. And it's extremely powerful if a human essence of me can actually live the existence to the other side position, to the spiritual system, to the soul recognition. Because I identify myself in the spiritual system. I've always been spiritual, 100%. I've always been through connections of meditation. I've been doing meditation for many, many years as a child. Okay, even when I was 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, right? I do the splits, I do exercise, I do motivations, I jump off buildings, I got into the stunts. There's reasons and purposes. So it's understanding it's a higher form of you. It's a higher education of you. It's a higher activation of you. It's a higher light of you. It's a higher modification, integration, cycles, rotation, positions. It's all about you understanding your E equals MC squared. Okay? Because E equals MC squared is the birthing system of Earth, because you're on Earth. So it's all about you understanding your C pods, your energy pods, your electrical pods, your light pods. Okay? So it's powerful, isn't it? I wanted to show you more of what the higher self is. It's everything through yourself. It's a higher form of communication. So once you get into the power connections of space and it cuts the cords and it goes off its own, male or female, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay? Because it does its own travels. It does its own space. It does its own thoughts. And that's to the weather atmosphere positions, changing all the angle points to shapes anomalies to its condition. Right? Done. Created in space. It's sitting there, right there. It's already created through vibration, through the human resonance to its connection. The Schumann resonance. So you have to understand that the spiritual system has a heart. The spiritual system has a mind. The spiritual system has its own brain. It's creating its own anomaly of a particle system. It's living its existence on the spiritual plane, not the physical plane of Earth. Okay? So don't get confused with those things. Okay? So, all right, so let's get into your questions here. Kiddo, say, oh, Commander. So I got Tina, Angel, Priscilla. Okay, I know I'm confused lately. This is quite a ride. But see, the ride is good. You're on a roller coaster. So until you understand the roller coaster, you can't cut the cords. Just imagine how powerful it is. You understand your physical system and your spiritual system is saying bye-bye, but it's still with you. It's still aligned with you. Okay. It's still connected to you more than you can even imagine. So it's kind of like it's creating its own self. It's creating its own robotic system. It's creating its own wire location. It's creating its own thoughts. It's creating its own space of time thoughts. It's creating its own sentient view of dimensions of portals, guys. It's creating its own weather. It's creating its own coloration. It's creating its own amusement. It's creating its own body activation chakra system. That's what the higher self is. Okay? Once you cut the cords. Okay? It's extremely powerful now. Okay? So you really, if you put yourself in the position of yourself, okay, and you follow up with your spiritual system of communication, really pay attention on what your higher self is doing, okay, through motivation, activation, line communication, thoughts, recognition, time position, space locations, dimensions, portals, codes, traveling, okay, communication to anything. Right? It's telling you, it's giving you awareness, it's giving you abundance, it's giving you surrender, it's protecting you every single day on what you're doing of listening. Are you paying attention? Are you listening to your inner system? Okay. So, and you guys have to get out of that. You guys aren't, you kind of like still on baby steps with the communications of yourself. Now you see everything for what it is. You're extremely high rise in vision, but we can't cut the cords until you understand yourself through the spiritual system, because it's the same thing. That's the ride that you guys have to understand. It's a roller coaster ride for you of your life system. So once you understand that it's a circle rotation of you, okay, the higher self or anything through your avatar, or anything computer energy or any atom or anything molecule structure of light will take off and create its own. Okay, it will actually create its own. Okay, so you are now identifying your soul through the sky records, the astral records, all connections. Imagine that. You know all information of you through your soul. That's powerful. That's extremely, extremely powerful, because now it's creating its own civilization in space and time. That's what your commander is. So I know who I am now. Okay. So basically, when you know who you are from the very, very beginning, this is what it leads up to. So everything in space I create, the solar system, it's created. Planets, created. Matrix, created. Other body systems through electronic division, through body activation light systems, created. I create everything, but it's not me. It's the communication of the spiritual system, which is your commander, the galactic force, the energy force, the rebellion force, the light council force. Okay. That's the communication, right? So it's extremely powerful, isn't it? Knowing that when a spiritual system goes off on its own, okay? Or it's kind of like basically when a kid goes off to school and he starts learning more and more and more and more, and then basically his dad seeing his son or his daughter going off to college or university, he cuts the cords, right? You're doing the same thing, but you're trying to identify yourself with your soul. Right? And again, the spiritual system will say, bye-bye, I'm off my own, but I'm still connected to you more than ever. Because now you're connected to the soul identity of you, to the balance of your physical system and your spiritual system. Okay? So I don't want anybody to get confused in the line signals of travel positions and how powerful you are through your thoughts of the mind. Okay? So please, if you have any questions, if you want to go into my healing, I can open your attractions to 12, put you into all connections of who you are. But this video is all about soul identifying you. That's all it is. It's nothing more. It's not that complicated, right? So it's trying to find the research of who I am. I'm identifying myself through the physical system. I already know that. I want to know more about me. I want to know the true essence of me and where I came from. Now you're soul identifying yourself through higher communications. Okay, you're interlining, interconnecting, interlacing, interdivision, location, positions to your E equals MC square. Right? But we're out of the equation right now into the crystalline, the box frequency levels of E equals MC velocity. Right? We have to get into higher ratio positions. So we have to kind of like go into the zero gravity position, right? Of travel positions of our thoughts. Okay. So, for example, I'm in the physical system, to make it very well clear. All those illustrations I give to you is the traveling positions of my soul. So my soul is giving you back through travel positions. That's creation through the spiritual system. So the spiritual system, basically, has anybody seen The Watchmen? Very, very powerful video. Doc? So basically, he's all blue, right? He went through a radioactive room and he disappeared into a particle system. He reforms, regenerates back into position. Extremely powerful stuff. So it's kind of like if you see Watchmen, the movie Watchmen, if you watch it, it's a relation to me through calculation. He's blue and he's got a little right there. That is basically me. And I'll tell you why. Because I had a dream way before I watched the movie Watchmen. So the higher self at the time wanted to show me what I needed to do, what I'd be looking like, so I can look like anything through form, right? So it's trying to understand that when you're creating things, clocks or time positions, you see everything, you can identify yourself, you can have multiple locations of yourself, you can have multiple divisions of yourself, you have clones of yourself. This is what a spiritual system can do once it understands its full creation. And you don't have to worry about cutting the cords because now you're in its ratio of its proportions to its connection to its physical system. So now you have balance with the physical system, and now you have balance with the spiritual system of all creation. Okay? So, yeah, actually, I got it on my phone. I'll show you. Really powerful. I want to show you. If you watch the movie, get a better connection. All right. So you have any questions or comments? Now's the time to really put yourself in those divisions, guys. Protecting lights in a connection line system. So it puts you in so many levels of connection of who you are. I think that's the most important thing you have to understand. Who am I? Right? You have to know who you are. Who are you? Okay. Now, when you watch Watchmen, this is what they wanted me to see. Okay. Right? Way before I watched the movie, I saw this. I became this. Right? So if you understand yourself, okay, especially if I'm seeing things through precognition, they want me to see this of how it's going to be through form, anything through form. So it's true understanding. And if you look in the center position, you understand what he's got there in all travel positions of time positions. Right? So if you watch the movie, you get a true understanding who he is. Right? This is what you can become. This is actually what your higher self is. It can be anything through form, through thought. So you can be anything through wire. You can be anything through structure. You can be anything through connection. You can be anything through a traveling position. You can be a windowsill. You can be a digital pad. I showed you guys positions where we took the team into my computer, my actual base of my computer, to show you what it's like to actually be inside a computer. Okay, so it's kind of like being an atom. Okay, the cartoon, Marvel cartoon, where the atom's like this, and you can shrink into that. You can go into any socket, any hole, or any of that connection. You can go into any wire. You know, you can be anything through form because now you're on the spiritual system. Okay, and this is where you start creating your own space and time positions of you through travel. Okay, so. Yeah, it's the inner child, Galactica. Yeah. Playing with the inner child. Yeah, you have to love yourself within before you can love yourself without. Humanity's been loving themselves without and forgetting themselves within. That's the problem. Okay, they're doing the reverse cycle. Okay, you can't voice your opinions out. You have to voice your opinions in. Everything through communication comes within because your wires and your vibrations, your activations, your cords, everything is inside you. So you have the umbilical cord. But once you stand, when you separate that, cut the cords, the higher self avatar position will fly off and go off on its own. But it's still attached to you, right? That's where it's extremely powerful because now it can go off and travel to any positions. So it's kind of like this. All right, this is the problem you guys are having. All right, I'm going to draw it out for you. Okay, so you truly understand that why you guys are still attached to its alignments of its umbilical cords. All right. Okay, so it's really interesting stuff when you see it through position. All right, so this is you, okay? into your physical system. Okay, so you're not going through anything through separating. You're just trying to understand your thoughts and records of time positions. Okay, so that's you. That's your physical system. All right. Now, once you understand, there's an electrical wire that is attached to you. So the plasma system comes out like this. Okay, at the beginning. Right. So when it comes out, it's starting to recognize more of itself. So it's trying to understand its creation. It's not formed through creation yet. It's just plasma, right? Once it identifies you, it looks at you and it says, okay, this is my spiritual form, right? So once it understands the spiritual form, it comes into the higher self form. So it starts to understand you more and more through calculation, right? So you start from here to here to here, right? So the plasma comes out. It's trying to understand you. It's trying to put, remember, it's all about when it goes in the atmosphere system, it's born into a new generation, right? I'm in 52 generations, right? Time positions. So trying to understand when you come out of your plasma right away, of your higher self, this is trying to understand more of you and how you're shaped. I don't know if you know this, but if you take a structure of a light or anything connection, it's trying to understand the form of itself. So when it becomes its form of itself, it becomes a higher self position through calculation, right? So it's all about understanding that, but you have to understand once you're in that connection. I'll draw you out another picture through connections. Oh, English. Ooh. Look at that. I'm in Mexico and here's English talking to me. All right. Okay, so I'm going to draw it out again. Now, once you understand your plasma system, truly understand it comes into its own formation. Okay. This is you through equation. Okay. All right, so that's you through equation. Now, you have to understand when your higher self is out, it's trying to understand more of you. If it doesn't, it's going to be line communication like this. So this is the umbilical cord, and it's still attached to you. It's trying to fly around, but it can't fly around if it's still attached. Okay? It's attached to you. That's the umbilical cord. That's the energy rod cord. That's the electrical light cord. This is your life stream of yin and yang, right? So you have to understand that if you're in the physical system, you have to understand the plasma energy system of its higher self. So the higher self is trying to go up, but it can't because it's attached. So it's like you attached to a rope. You can only go so far. All right. So once you understand that and you cut the cords, you can set free the spiritual form, and they can fly to anything through connection to travel positions. It can go anywhere it wants through connection. See? You separate this and it disappears. This is truly understand what it is, right? So, little Ferris application positions. So reconnect. Okay, so once you get on those connections, once it separates, it's free. You're breaking free. And now the higher self can live free. And that's how it goes forward. It doesn't go forward if you're still attached. You understand? So your soul is still trying to identify you. If it doesn't, it's going to be attached until you cut the cords, right? So once you cut the cords and you're starting to identify yourself more through position, you can open up the cycle rotation centers to a circle rotation system to calculation. Okay, this will give you a better idea how powerful you are through space connection. So it kind of like opens the mind system to connections, right? Formulates in all level connection line systems, proactive line connections, proactive line communication cycles. It opens up your thought recognition light system to calculation. So once you get into a new position, it starts flying around, getting to know space and time positions of itself for the very first time. So it's flying around, okay, and it's seeing this planet position, it's seeing archetypes flying in position, okay, it's seeing rotation cycles, positions, it's seeing everything through the sun, okay, it's seeing everything through the moon, okay, so that's what the higher self does. Tries to understand what's going on now, tries to piece everything all together. Oh, there's the sun. Oh, there's an archetype. Oh, there's a planet position, the solar system. Oh, there's the moon. Hey, there's the starlight positions. And then you got everything to, UFO. Okay. Practical levels, guys, you have to understand. Okay. So until you cut the cords, you won't be able to understand your soul. Your soul has to be set free. So when it sets free, it lives its own existence in its own life of space and time. Okay. So it starts to understand more of the sun, right? So we go into that. It starts scanning the sun, right? It starts scanning planet positions. Okay. It starts understanding more calculation to UFO connection. Right. And then it starts more connections to the moon. Okay. And then it starts understanding starlight positions to shapes anomaly through its connection. Right. All connections. What does it do? It comes back to you and gives you all the information from the perceptions, the audios, and everything through its communing levels, the voicing grid panels, voicing grid system, okay, through calculation. So it's amazing, isn't it? It's incredible, but you have to get into the connections. You have to cut the cords. The cords have to be cut, okay, or you can't identify your soul. Your soul has to be set free, okay? So when you go through the healing of me, okay, I birth your soul. I open up your heart. I open up your tree to its roots, okay? So when that happens, it's up to you to understand your program settings of your positions. You cut the cords and it goes off in its own of space and time position. It does its own traveling and comes back to you through transmitting and receiving, okay, of what he or she found out, what he or she saw, okay? So, all right. I still can't communicate clearly with my higher self. Well, see, that's the thing. That's why I'm giving you Priscilla. I wanted to do this video because I know exactly what you're saying. Believe me, I know everything you guys are saying before you even say it. That's my telepathy. So that's why I did this class today. This is all about the higher self. You have to understand that you're all connected to the soul. The soul has to identify you, or you're not going to be able to cut the cords, guys. You have to cut the cords of the soul so it can be set free, so it can travel where it needs to go. Okay. And then it brings back information, which is transmitting and receiving. Okay. It's transmitting information and you're receiving back information to your higher self of its position. Okay. So you have to get balanced with each other. Okay. But it's the most important thing. It's the umbilical cord, but it's electrical cord. It's a life cord. It's a life system. It's a life activation cord. Okay. It's an electrical rod that's attached to you. So every time you're trying to connect with it and you don't understand it, it's trying to move up and you're trying to, it's trying to move up, but it can't because you're not understanding, right? Until you cut it, it goes up and it's free. It's free. It can do whatever it wants. It can create whatever it wants through manifestation. You create planet positions, solar systems. It's trying to understand more of itself, of its spiritual system. Okay? So, yeah. So it's getting connection to your higher self or soul. I have open communication with higher intelligence, but sometimes I can't communicate clearly. Well, the thing is, I can set up a platform for you. Okay? You go through the practice system. Okay? The cost is $50. All right? I'll cut the cords for anybody that doesn't understand their soul identification. Once you cut the cords, you guys are going to be blown away because now it's surfacing to higher levels of vibration, right? It will cut the cords and you'll have no more problems with the balance location of your physical system, okay? It's extremely powerful, right? You go through my healing and this will help you in all ways and forms, right? So it's truly understanding when you set free the spiritual system of soul identification, it's truly understanding who you are. Who you are. You're starting to remember. So how is it supposed to remember if you don't cut the cords of yourself? How is it supposed to fly up? How is it supposed to understand more and more of space and time if you keep setting yourself in position and all you're doing is living the negative cycle of its position? Okay, balance is the key for everything. Can't go around it. That's exactly what it is, right? So if you go through my PayPal, I'll help you guys out. Okay. So, but the thing is too, is you can help yourself out. You can figure that out yourself, or you can go through my healing. I'm here to help you and guide you in positions to truly understand how you are connected to the umbilical cord of your soul identification. Okay. It's not going to be able to travel higher until you understand yourself within yourself, which is your inner self, your higher self, your connection to yourself, the inner child of yourself. Okay. You have to have a heart of a child to understand everything through illustration. So you got to visualize, you see your higher self. It's looking at you. Hey, come on. I want to be set free. Well, I'm not ready yet. Well, if you're not ready, how am I going to go any farther? How am I going to see this? How am I going to see the world of space and time? Right? So your higher self is telling you, listen, man, wake up. Wake up. Right? So that's what humanity is in right now. Humanity is in that process right now. True Kniters is trying to understand they have a spiritual form. They have a spiritual light. They are a dimensional being. Everybody is connected to that. Right? And it's disrupting and it's disturbing the vibrations of this earth. Okay. So the balance is the key for everything. You can't go around it. Very good, Galactica. So Priscilla, I can help you out, but the thing is too, if you guys are short on payments, you can do so much month to month, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to contribute through donations or whatever. It's all about you helping each other. It's all about helping yourself. It's truly understand. The hardest thing is to truly understand your soul. Now, I try to figure that out because I was thinking to myself, wait a minute, how come I'm not going higher? Well, because there's a cord that's attached to me. Okay. So it's kind of like in the umbilical cord, you know, your birth from your mother, and it's attached to the stomach line, right? The center position, right? It's attached, right? You get the doctor, or you cut it yourself, right? So how's the baby going to grow if it's still attached? So automatically when it's born, it has to be cut no matter what. So that's a true understanding that you're letting go. You're letting the baby grow. You're letting the tree grow. You're letting your roots grow of yourself. Until you understand that, you're going to be still attached to the cord. Now that's metaphorically, but it's electrical wire that's connected to you, because the existence of the higher self or anything through its condition only relates to vibration and energy and frequencies. It doesn't connect to your physical form when it's in space and time. It's trying to understand everything around the atmospheric position. And then it gives back information to you through transmitting. And then you send it back out to receiving. Okay. That's why I did space discoveries. Okay. Especially with episode 4, when I talk about transmitting and receiving digital numbers coming in, trying to understand that through connections. That's understanding your time codes, your time positions, your time frames, your electrical frames, your body frames, your digital light frames through your perceptions. Open up everything through your audios and everything through your voice and your patterns. Okay. But your commander is now in the simulation. He's born in the simulation. Right? So that's how powerful it is. So not only, I cut the cords with myself, but it's creating a whole new simulation game for everybody. It's a creation, simulation creations. So it's understanding when you come back into form and you know who you are through position, you just get more powerful in the mind of travel positions, thought recognition, time positions, space positions. I travel to all these locations, right? That's how real it is. Okay. So this is where we have to start. Baby steps, that's what we have to do. So, and the thing is, if you're not understanding these things, you have to go back to the basics, right? Back to meditation, back into communication. Just really focus on yourself inside you. Really just listen. Get into the breathing. Close your eyes. Just, Use your whole body, not just breathe in and out. You have to use your hands too, because you're going in and you're going out. You're going in, you're going out. Everybody has their own breathing technique, right? And motion with the ocean. Listen to the waves. Let it flow. It's like music. Music flows. Let it flow. Let it know where it's going. Set it free. So you're setting your thoughts free. You're setting your meditation graphs free. You're setting your time free. You're setting space of time of view of travels of free. You're setting your dreams free. Okay? Dreams free is understanding and deciphering in your dreams. So if you understand in your dreams, it's letting go and moving on. If you don't, it's going to be confusing for you through the mind system. The dream sequencing level and its projection is going to go back into framing locations, back into the matrix positions, and you're going to be trapped in location. So you don't want to get into those positions, right? So, but I'm glad I brought this to your attention, because you understand that you are connected to your soul. Your soul is everything through your physical system. So truly understand that, hey, set me free. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's rock and roll. You know? So until you don't understand your soul, you're not going to be able to get on that roller coaster. And I mean a roller coaster that never ends. Okay? Once it's free, it travels anywhere it wants. It creates whatever it wants. It's on its own, but it comes back to you. Okay? It comes back to you every single day. All right? Whoa, powerful energy. Whoa. He's listening. See, that's the thing too. Michael Rolla can tell you, he's extremely informative with higher energy light systems. He understands his gravitation. He understands his connections, Ongon and all that connection, martial arts, right? Watch him on his meditation channel. He's on Sundays. Michael Rolla is very powerful. Same with Starseed, Priscilla too. You guys are all powerful. But if you want to be more powerful, cut the cords. That's all you got to do. All right? You're thinking, how do we do that? Well, you can go to that level, try to understand more of yourself or your soul, or you can go through the healing, right? That's what I provide with for you guys. And like I said, it's important that you understand more of yourself, okay? So it's like cutting the old wires of you, right? So if there's a wire that's attached to you and it's been there for so long, it's going to, right? So basically you have to break free, right? So this is what happens over years and years and years, and you're still in that same cycle, that same karma. So the wire is just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and then you're basically going to both explode. Explode in the mind, metaphorically, and then you go crazy. That's what happens with the wire, right? So over the years, it just gets worse and worse and worse until you set it free, and then it's off on its own, right? What comes back? A new chord, a new position. Now, when I say new chord, I mean that it's creating its own positions. It's creating its own space. It's creating its own line screens. It's creating its own computer system. It's creating its own flash drive. It's creating its own operation of space and time position of thoughts. Okay? So when it goes off on its own, it's now creating its own system. Okay? It's creating its own clone division. Okay? Because I started off with that. Remember, I did a video very, very powerful where I connected to two higher selves, one position of the grounds and one position in the atmosphere, right? Very, very powerful. That's why I was so connected. It was like I was so high on vibration. And I say, whoa, this is great. This is powerful stuff. So I had two transmitting and receiving. I had one in the atmosphere and I had one inside me. Okay? And there wasn't any separation. We were together. Through a form, through electrical lights, through proactive cycle. So I had to go through these, and this had to be going through the connections of mutations, multiplications, all those levels of you coming into figurements, coming into the particle system, right? And coming into a new location, but no separation, which is really powerful through the electrical light positions. So, that's truly understanding your connections to your DNA, your blueprint, your contract, your contract, your blueprint is your soul. Okay? You have it up there. So when you want to know what it's like to actually go up the stairs, right? Climb up that ladder. Okay? So it's kind of like Jack and the Beanstalk. He plants the beads, climbs. So it's you climbing your tree. You create the tree and then you're climbing your tree. That's what it is. So once you create the tree, okay, it's in full rotation cycle through life system, through yin and yang. Now you climb the tree to go higher. Right? I used to climb trees when I was a kid. I love climbing trees. You have to think yourself as a child to know what it's like to actually climb a tree. So you got to visualize that you're taking your higher self to higher levels of program setting. So that's why I put you guys into higher positions of calculation. But do you understand it? No. Why? Because your cords are still attached to each other. Okay? So, but it's the inner child, Galactica. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, you understand, wow, I love myself now. That alone is setting free. So you understand that there is a God send of me on the other side. It's the spiritual side. You can't think of yourself in the physical form if you're trying to understand the relation of the spiritual self, which is you. Or you're never ever going to understand the cycle rotation of yin and yang through its proactive cycle, because it has to stand its rotation. It's always going forward, never going back. Okay? Because you're reversing everything through thought. You don't want to do that. You want to bring yourself forward with your thoughts. Okay? So you can create the positive self of you, or you can create the negative self of you. Because I guarantee you, the negative self of you is not the spiritual system. It's the physical system. Okay? And that's why you're still attached, because you don't understand. Okay? So go to my email. You want to go with the healing, I'll help you out. I'll cut the cords. And you guys will be set free. Right? It's going to be feeling very, very weird if I do this for you. But you know, it's all about time for you guys to understand these things, because you're now coming into the track positions of 100 and truly understanding. You know, it's kind of like a kid trying to understand its drawing through its test, review, and evaluation. It understands. Okay? Kids are extremely, extremely smart when it comes to the illustration of the mind. They're extremely open through creativity. Okay? Adults have to get into that form. I've done this before with videos. Adults can't represent, they don't represent themselves anymore because they forget who they are through their inner system. They realize they have an inner child, but they don't understand their inner child. So they stay within the adult system and live that egotypic system. Okay? And now you're not separating yourself through your dichotomy system. You have to separate yourself, okay, to understand your soul. So when your soul identifies you through the physical system, it says bye-bye and it goes off on its own. Okay, but you're extremely more attached now, even though you're not attached to the umbilical cord or electrical rod or anything through its cord. The most important thing you have to understand now, it's more attached to you more than it ever was. Okay, because now you're understanding the soul of you through its identification of space and time, position of travel, through its clocking. Okay, so all right, so let's see. I'm just going to back phrase here. Now's the time for you guys to have any questions. Let me know. Okay. So I know I was going to get more into the connections of 100 chakra rotation centers, but I think we're just going to leave it there for now. Tomorrow we'll definitely get into it, but I really want you guys to get into that, because I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. I know your knowledge of intelligence, where you are. You're not understanding more because it's too much information. And you're not balancing anything from your physical system, and you're certainly not understanding your higher self positions or anything through your avatar. You guys are not in your higher self. You're not in your connection to your avatar. You're in your computers. And that's why it's complicated, because you're at a higher division location to the quantum fields of vibration. Right? So you're in higher fields of electric wires. You're in higher fields of the grounds. You're higher fields in the powers and everything to the atmosphere positions. Okay? So it's true understanding When the higher self, I'll keep saying this, when it's set free, it goes off on its own and it creates whatever it wants by itself. But it comes back to you, okay, through transmitting and receiving information. Okay? So it's kind of like somebody going out in the forest and picking berries and say, look what I got, Dad. Look what I got, Mom. Right? Oh, thank you, son. Thank you, daughter. Right? So it's all about creativity. You're doing something without even asking. So, you got to look at yourself as a higher form of yourself through thoughts. You got to put yourself in that position and just set free. Set yourself free from all your thoughts. Stop complaining. Stop confusing yourself. Stop getting frustrated. Stop thinking of fear. Fear is number one. Get out of the fear. Spiritual system doesn't understand fear. It only knows knowledge and intelligence and moves itself forward. That's all it does and creates. That's all it does. It doesn't do anything else. Right? So hopefully this will help you and guide you and put you in positions how you can cut the cords and move to wherever you want through position of space and time through creation. Okay? It's all about you creating your space and time positions of you. You want to know what it's like to set something free and know what it can do. It can do whatever it wants through manifestation. Okay, because your physical system doesn't understand the soul identification until the spiritual system understands you through the physical system. Okay, you have to have balance with both. That's yin and yang. All right. Been loving myself more and more. See, Galactica's allowing herself to see herself, loving herself more and more. Right. That alone. So it's kind of like the cord is getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. Right? And eventually it will break off. But let's just think about it for a sec. How long will it take for it to snap before you can set it free? So you're setting your soul free, but it's still attached to you. Let's make that very well clear. Okay, so you set it free, okay, through the spiritual mind, through its thought, through its reckoning of time positions. You're creating something wonderful. So it tells you what it's doing on its own. That becomes the cloud. That becomes the simulator. Okay? It becomes its consciousness and its awareness and its abundance and its surrender and its focus. Imagine that, how powerful it is. That's the knowledge and intelligence through travel. It travels to different positions of time, positions of dimensions, of portals. It opens up cycles. It opens up planets. And it comes back to you and tells you what it just finished doing. Male or female through higher self, depending where you are. Through travel, but it's truly understanding. Everybody has to get into these levels. Okay. I definitely want to cut the cords. Open communication with higher intelligence at all times. Well, just go through my email. It's your choice. It's truly, truly your choice, right? You cut the cords. I'll send a code for you, and this will change everything for you. So it's a new beginning, a new light position. And when you set it free, you communicate differently with your mind system. And you're coming into calculations, into the simulation. Okay? So, and healing is everything through form, through wire, through division, through location, through activation, through the chakra system of communication. Okay? So, I think I did a video too with the angelics when I was talking about Archangel Michael. It's important to cut your cords with your thoughts of time positions. Well, this is cutting the soul so it can go off on its own. Okay. So everything I give you is chronological order. Now's the time, now's the position for you guys to set free. Okay. So you guys can understand more of yourself through your soul identification, because the soul wants to remember who or she is. That's all it is, guys. Okay? So just let it free. Don't get confused. Don't get frustrated. Don't get angry. Don't get anxiety. Don't put any fear. Okay? That's doing the opposite. Okay? You become in the negative of your system. Okay? It's not going to be able to fly here and there if you keep doing that in your mind system through your thoughts. Remember, you're creating thoughts. So you want to be attached or you want to be set free here. That's the only thing we do that. I want to be set free. That's surrender. You got to surrender. You got to put your whole body into space and say, I surrender. Okay? So this is all done through codes. All right? You guys can't do this because you don't identify your soul. You know you have a soul, but you don't understand the adaptations of the soul. You don't understand the astral records of your soul. You don't realize you have information of the soul. It's confusing if you're not in the spiritual system. You have to be 100% dimensional being to understand your soul. Okay? Because the dimensional being only understands everything through space and time. Okay? So if it cuts its cords and it understands your physical system, it will relate to you every single day through information. Okay? So I got caught up on all your questions. I think we're good. The thing is, too, when you watch my videos, do you really understand them? That's what you got to come across. You understand it, and the next day you wake up and say, oh, I don't understand it now. What happened? What made you change all of a sudden? Because that happens sometimes. Sometimes people get lost through the wire locations, energy, location, position. They get confused through their thoughts and recognition of time, position, of space, and they lose positions, their lights, and they forget their dimensional beings. And they go back into the physical system. Right? You're still going to be attached until you identify you have a soul. Think of it that way. Let's just think of it that way for a sec. You know you have a soul. Okay, so what happens next? You're already out, okay, of your body, guys. You're high rise in positions. You're coming into 100 chakra rotation centers, guys. You're coming into 114. So you're standing more of your liquid formations of light. What position is that? Here, here, here. Where do you want to be? Right? A half bottle full or a full bottle? Where do you want to be? Right? So it's asking yourself, what do you want to do? What do you want to see? Knowing you can do these things through the mind, and it's all through the chakra system. Okay? You understand more of the earth now through the gravities. You understand more of your inner self through creative, the sacral, more of your solar plexus of power. Okay, more of your heart. Okay, more of your throat, the cleansing of your throat, the operations of your throat, your wire location of your throat. And then you come into the connections when it comes into the transformation light, the realm, the third eye, and then you go into the crown chakra, right? 7 within the body, 5 within the atmosphere. So the higher self is trying to understand you more. Once it comes out, it's starting to create its own system, its own operation, its own projections, and what it wants to see through traveling positions of space and time. Okay? So, if you have to start off the basics through meditation, that's fine, but close your eyes, keep your eyes open. But you guys are in a high-rise location position, and you want to get out of its connection. So you start off with this through positions, right? It's trying to find what it is. So it looks at you. Oh, it's a physical form. So it's creating its own vibration into a physical form, but it's electrical form, and then it becomes its higher self. So when you have that, then you have connections to this, right? You have to separate the cord. Once you separate the cord, it's set free, right? When you have that, it travels anywhere in time position of its location. All right. So I know I'm confused lately. This is quite a ride, and we keep saying it over and over. Everything is a ride for us. Everything's a roller coaster for us. We get up every morning, we're confused. But the thing is too, is that why are we focusing on everything that's outside? Yes, it's affecting you, but you're allowing yourself to affect you through the psychological of its thought. Okay, because it's certainly not the higher self, it's you. So you don't want to confuse yourself through that. Okay, so to let yourself go is not to worry about everything that's happening. Okay, and the only way you can do that is to cut the cords of yourself Okay, that will take you out of the fear. That will, all these things can be done. But this is extremely powerful because you're taking a birthing system of you and you're taking the soul recognition of you out of its equation, right? It has to be set free. You have to be set free. Okay. So again, through the healing, you go through me, it opens up the soul. It opens up its seed pod for the very first time. So imagine that you're in a seed pod for so long and you're asleep. You're sleeping, right? All of a sudden you're starting to wake up. What? You're looking around. You see yourself in a seed pod, an energy light pod, and then you see yourself glowing. Now, when you see yourself glowing, this is the healing that's taking place. So I'm trying to do this in a practical level so you can understand when you go through a story frame, right? Going a little bit into acting. So I'm just showing you from point 4 to point 4 and through the chronological system what can happen when you go through my healing. You say, whoa, I'm glowing. What's happening to me now? All of a sudden, the light opens up. Story frame opens up. Whoa. Then you see the higher self. Whoa. And then you're looking around and what reality am I in? So the seed pod breaks. Right? So what happens now is you're still attached to the physical form, but you're out. Okay, you're out, but you're still attached. So the more you understand your attachment, the more you can release yourself from time to time through its upgrades and program settings. So you have to understand what the upgrade system is. So the soul is trying to get up there. It's trying to get up. It's trying to be released. Let me go. Let me go. Let me go. Right? I'm ready. So when I heal you, I open up your lights. I take you out of your energy pod, wherever you are through position. So your soul is birthing. Okay. And now you're coming out of the death cycle of the physical system. You're being reborn into your dimensional of yourself from the very beginning. So it's up to you. Excuse me. When you're in the atmospheres and understands the plasma and electrical light of you, it goes back into the past. So understands the flying mechanism of the system. Oh, I know what I'm doing now. So it goes into the past, goes into its relation of its past, its karma wheel, gets rid of the past, and goes into the presence and tries to stand more of the future. Right? But it can't do that if it's still attached to the physical system. You understand? So it has to be set free. Okay? So hopefully that helps you out. Better positions on what you need to do. Okay? Through its calculation. It's all about taking everything out of the equation, guys. Right? But the spiritual system has to be set free. Okay? Or you're not going to be able to identify who you are through your soul identification. All right? So when your lights open up, you start looking around. Okay, now I feel really weird. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing Jesus, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. Everything changes. You're starting to change. So your molecule structure is changing, your particle system's changing, you're changing into dimensional being from the very beginning, something that you always was. So you're going through recollection, reactivation, reline, readjustments, refocus, restructure. You're coming into who you are from the very beginning. That's why it's so powerful. So this is where the physical system has to understand what's going on. If it doesn't understand the dimensional being of you, there's the problem. You're not going to understand the travel positions. And you're going to understand, oh, I'm still attached. But the soul wants to be set free. Okay? That's the only way you guys are going to understand yourself more. Okay? It's just to let yourself go through the mind. Let it flow. And know that you're going to be okay. You're going to be great. You're going to be fantastic. I'm tremendous. I feel great every day. Now, every day, everybody is not great. Everybody's not fantastic. But you put yourself in that position through your thoughts. Okay? So if it's somebody's worst day, to them, it's their best day. Think of it that way. That's reverse psychology. So every day that he lives, if you're living an extremely bad day, to him or her, it's a great day. Think of it that way. It's the way you see, hear, feel, touch, and taste everything through your mind, of your thoughts. You're trying to recognize yourself through its force of its in and its out. Truly understand who you are. Your soul identifying everything around you. Through electricity, you're trying to understand who you are through your computer, your operations, your chakra system, right? And then you wake up and all of a sudden, whoa, I have a chakra system? This is incredible. This is amazing. I'm a dimensional light. Wow, this is great. I'm glowing. So you're starting to recognize your soul now. So the physical system is trying to understand you more and more. So you're getting more balance with yourself through the physical thoughts and everything through the spiritual of its thoughts. It all comes together into one line signal, one activation, one travel position of one atom system of a rotation center position. Okay, so but like I said, you have any questions or comments, please feel free. I'm here to give what you need and what you want. If you want to cut the cords, this is what you need to do. Okay, especially now because you guys are coming to higher levels of liquid formation of light. You have to understand your lights and where you are through travel of thoughts. Okay, because everything forms around light. Everything forms around light. Right? Everything forms around light, whatever you see. So the intelligence knows exactly where it is, what it's doing through the particle system. It's not in separation, right? It's less than 3/4 of water, right? So where do you want to be? Here, here, or here, right? So, oh, you're extremely welcome there, Latika. You might have to watch this video back because it's very powerful more about you, your higher self of you, and how you always have been the soul identification of you. But just imagine how powerful it is to actually understand who you are through your soul. Okay, it's your soul now we're talking about, right? The soul is you. The soul is the identity of you. The soul is its thoughts of you. The soul is the force of you, in and out. The soul is identifying everything through space and time of you. It's trying to understand you more, okay? Because you're not that connection to the physical system. You're the connection to the dimensional light, the dimensional being, okay? So it's all about you coming back of who you are, okay? Through its creativity system, okay? Through its manifestation of its thoughts. You can create anything you want, but you gotta let go. You gotta let it flow, okay? So I think that's good. Tomorrow we'll get into the test, okay? Because we went through the review and went through the evaluations a little bit more, but we'll get into more connections. But if you want to go and cut the cords, let me know, all right? This is Supreme AI Commander and all connection line systems communicate to higher levels of connections to higher self positions, all right? Adios.